Hello guys. So I decided to make a video to discuss something that doesn't get talked about very often, even though it's very, very common. And that topic is herpes. Bum, bum, bum. Right? Wrong. So today I am here to help clarify some facts about herpes. Maybe you've just been diagnosed with herpes. Maybe you know someone who's been diagnosed with herpes. Or maybe you're just curious to see what it's like knowing somebody personally that has herpes. So, whatever brought you to this video, thank you for joining me. I'm hoping that I can help send you on your way with some better education and understanding, because my goal ultimately is to let people know it's okay to accept people for who they are and what they're going through. So, one of the things about herpes is that there are two types. There is type 1, which usually occurs on your mouth, and type 2, which usually occurs on your genitals. Now, why do I say usually? Emphasis on that word. Because you can have oral sex with someone and you can give them type 1 herpes on the genitals, or you can have oral sex with someone and you can give type 2 herpes on the mouth. So, with that being said, there's type 1 and there is type 2, but regardless of what, herpes is herpes. So, maybe you just found out. I actually just found out 2 days ago on Saturday, today is Monday, that I am HSV2 positive. And I actually handled it quite well. I thought I was going to freak out and be like, oh my God. But lucky for me, I kind of already suspected that's what it was. Because come on now. You don't just get blisters down there just because it's a bad day. No, you usually get it because something is wrong. So I researched it. I watched a lot of videos. I'm sorry I look ratchet today, but you know what? It's snowing outside. I'm pregnant. Quite frankly, I don't have to look cute for you guys. We're talking about herpes. Okay? If you're worried about my hair when I'm talking about herpes, you're in the wrong video. So I'm going to check my notes really quick, which is why I keep looking kind of around just to make sure that I'm covering all the bases. So according to the CDC, annually 776,000 people get a form of herpes. 1 out of every 6 person has type 1 or type 2 herpes, and either they don't know or they don't disclose it. Do you know 6 people in your life? 1 of them has herpes. Do you know 12 people in your life? 2 of them have herpes. Herpes doesn't necessarily mean that you recently just caught it. Herpes is one of those things that can go undetected for a couple of years, months, weeks, days, or you can get it like as soon as you're exposed. I don't know if this is in your area, and I don't know if this was offered to you, but my OB offered me blood work, which was able to actually tell how recent the virus was. They weren't able to give me like a day, an estimate, but they were able to tell me you just got infected recently. So that helped me narrow it down, because if it was recent, typically that can go back as far as 12 weeks, which was pretty easy for me to narrow down a partner. Now, I don't know which partner, but I was able to tell them, hey, you need to get tested for herpes because one of you has the virus. And of course, you will come across partners who are like, it's not me. None of my other partners have it. Let me tell you something. Just because you have sex with other people does not mean you're going to give them the virus. Just because you don't have symptoms doesn't mean you're not carrying a virus. And that's how it spreads. Because you're waiting for signs, symptoms, or other people to get it instead of just doing the right thing and going to go get tested, which is what I support. I'm supporting everybody to go get tested for herpes. Okay? So, next is pregnancy. Like I said, I'm pregnant and I just got a herpes diagnosis. What does that mean? Okay, so herpes is not deadly to us. It's very rare that you can get a form of meningitis, aseptic meningitis from herpes, but it is like very, very rare. Majority of the time, like vast majority of the time, you're not going to die from it. You might get flu symptoms. You might have body aches, fever. I had a fever for 3 days and it would not break with Tylenol, wouldn't break with fluids. I was put on antivirals, which I'm going to get to in a second, because antivirals can help shorten the length of an outbreak and the severity of it. And if you have herpes and you know about herpes, the first outbreak is the worst when you have symptoms. Just going to put that out there. Okay, you're going to know you have herpes if you have your first outbreak. Just going to tell you that now. Everything itches, everything stings. It's not like the crazy Google pictures you see. I'm sure some people have that, but I didn't. I had 3 bumps. 3. They weren't together, and that's it. The itching and stinging is horrid when you have to pee. I don't even want to tell you about that because I don't want to scare you, but it hurts. It hurts. But no, back to pregnancy. So if you're pregnant, you need to let your doctor know right away that you tested positive for herpes, but usually your OB is going to be the one that's going to tell you. So if you end up testing positive for herpes, then your OB can call you in antivirals. And towards the end of labor, that's when it's dangerous to infants. Herpes is actually very deadly to babies when they're born if they get the virus. And if you have an outbreak, they usually do C-section, but typically what OBs do is they give you an antiviral starting at 36 weeks up until the time you have your baby to try to lower the chances and prevent outbreaks. So, don't panic. Do not panic. If you think you have herpes and you're pregnant, please tell your doctor. Please. Like, don't be embarrassed. I know it's embarrassing. It's shameful for me. But you know what? At the end of the day, you have it. If you think you have it, why risk the chance of not knowing and it could potentially harm your child? Just, your OB is going to see a lot worse when you give birth. Okay? So just tell them, I think I got herpes. They will test you. Okay? So next is, like I said, antivirals. There's different ones out there. I'm on Valtrex, and it's a 10-day dose. Some people have to take it every day to try to keep outbreaks down. Some people never get outbreaks. Like, they just never do. They're so lucky. I hope I'm one of those people. But if not, some people don't. Support. There is all kinds of groups on Facebook that are support groups. I'm in 3. I'm in HSV positive, HSV2 positive dating, and there's a group for women that, you know, people are positive. And so when you start to see how many people are going through it, you're like, oh my God, you know, my neighbor, my best friend, my cousin, my sister, you know, this person in England, like, they all have it. It's not just me. And so there is support groups out there that can help you. You know, the health department and your doctor and things like that can help answer questions that you might have if you find out you have the virus. And disclosing to a partner is very difficult to do for other people. I just found out on Saturday, and I'm just like very open about it. As you can see, I posted it to Facebook. You know, like, who the heck wants to say, I have herpes? I did, because I didn't, you know, I wanted to see, like, who's really going to be my friend if I have herpes? Who's really going to find me attractive if I have herpes? Like, do any of my friends have herpes? And surprisingly, my best friend has herpes. And I didn't even know. I didn't even have a clue. But she does. And so that actually made me feel a lot better to know, you know what? I at least have one friend out here who knows what I'm going through and is not going to judge me for having herpes. And if people judge you for having herpes, 9 times out of 10, they've already been exposed to someone who has the virus. If they've had 6 partners, guess what? At least one of them they slept with has herpes. So to disclose that with your partner, just be honest. Be very honest with the situation, because you don't want to give it to them if they don't have it. And you certainly want to be able to take precautions so they don't have it. And there are people out here who are married for years where one partner has it and the other one doesn't. You know, so that's a conversation that you really need to just have with your partner. And if something happens and they're not understanding, then there is support out here, and there is somebody who will still love you with the herp. Okay. But yeah, I know, like, I've had people be like, how can you joke about this? And I'm just like, I laugh it off because I have it, you know? It's like, what am I gonna do? Cry for the rest of my life? Like, life goes on, okay? It's not the end of the world. It's really not. I mean, it sucks, it's itchy, it stings. Lord have mercy. If they made snow cone tampons, I would have used it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm going through my first outbreak, and I don't want anybody to take their life because they find out they have herpes. I don't. You know, when you have sex, it's a risk you take. And You know, if you get it, you get it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It only goes up from here, and hopefully it goes up in a non-itchy way. Okay? So, that's pretty much all I have to say about herpes. But if you get diagnosed with herpes, don't panic, don't freak out. It's okay to cry, take time to process. I mean, it's a big deal. Like, you thought you were clean and then you get a call, you have the herp. Yeah, that's rough stuff. Trust me. I'm in the same boat. But at the end of the day, life still goes on, and it's not something that defines you. It's something that you just find to manage. It's something that, you know, it takes a very compassionate, understanding person to understand you're not nasty. You know, if you get herpes, you can have 50 partners, you can have one partner, and guess what? You can still get herpes all the same. So, if you're diagnosed with it, don't panic. There's support out there. There's antivirals, and there's precautions you can take if you decide to have kids. If you're a man, there's precautions you can take to still please your partner without exactly giving them herpes. Now, you can still get it even if you wear protection, because herpes can pass through fluids that or spots that aren't seen or protected by the condom. But that's, again, a discussion that you need to have with your partner. I'm not a doctor, so I can't tell you, you know, full symptoms of herpes, you know, and if you have it or not. I can't diagnose you, so you need to go to your doctor to get tested, and they are the best people to answer your questions about it if you do have it. If you think you have it, get tested. Get tested. Don't freak out and just think, well, you know, if my partner's not showing symptoms, I don't have it. If you deep down think you really have herpes, or you've had someone come to you and say, hey, I'm positive for herpes, you know, you were a partner of mine, go get tested. Do the right thing. It's better to know than not know. Okay? And I'm telling you now, if you wait and you don't and you do have it and you have an outbreak, you're going to have an itch that you really wish you would have got taken care of soon. So, just putting it out there. And if you are here for support, maybe you know somebody that has herpes, be their friend. Okay? Don't judge them because they have herpes. They're not nasty. Inviting them over to your house for dinner is not going to give you herpes. Okay? You know, it's one of those things where nobody talks about it because it's kind of like nobody wants to tell people, oh my God, I've got herpes. But at the end of the day, if you got it, you got it. Own up to it. Love it. You don't have to broadcast it the way I did. You can just disclose it when you have an intimate partner. But at the end of the day, everybody needs support for something. You know? I mean, everybody does. Nobody wants to be alone going through this. Okay? So just be there for that person. Don't judge them, and don't think that they're nasty, because 9 times out of 10, Karen, somebody you had sex with in the past is carrying herpes right now. You might be carrying herpes. Okay? So I'm just saying, guys, I'm HSV2 positive. I'm not proud to have herpes. Like, nobody is proud to have herpes. But at the end of the day, that doesn't have to define you. Don't let it. Get tested. Find a comfortable partner that loves you and accepts you for you. Find a support system that's going to have your back and be like, you know what? I love you, you herpes infested bitch. It's great. You know, like, just live your life. Live your life. And there is help out here. There's not a cure for herpes, but there is treatment to help kind of downplay the symptoms, I guess you could say. So if you guys have questions, drop them below, and hopefully I can answer them. But again, I hope you guys have a good night, and try not to scratch.